3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport with you, broadcasting live from the SEC Tournament in Bridgestone Arena, just outside Section 104. Jackson has told me we do have video. We're bad, and we're back. So you can watch the show YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you, Zeph. 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from Bridgestone Arena for the 2025 SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. Listen as we keep you up to date with all of the news and events happening inside Bridgestone Arena, along with special guests. Thanks to Shoney's. For more information, visit 1045thezone.com. Shoney's, always fresh, always delicious. Let's eat. Slay Dog put a video out on his social media feeds. He found Dippin' Dots. And we heard him yelling from here. I can't even see the Dippin' Dots, but I heard it. So you can check out his socials, the Ron Slay, and do that. 615-737-1045 if you want in. 615-737-1045. Again today, Ole Miss with the 83-80 win over Arkansas. Arkansas with a score at 80-80. Tie game with 7 seconds left. Brazil misses 2 free throws. Ole Miss gets it, hurries down the floor. Padula with the game winner with about 2 seconds left, and he gets that done. 83-80. Ole Miss advances as the 8th seed to play number 1 ranked Auburn tomorrow at noon. Well, let me update you here. Texas is out in front now of Texas A&M, 63-60. So we've been talking a lot about Trey Johnson and how he had been struggling. So coming into the game, 6 of 33 from the floor in the last 2 games. He started today 2 for 10. So that's 8 for 43 in his last 2+ games. He now has hit his last 4 shots and has scored 10 points in those 4 shots. So he has 15 points, Trey Johnson. For Texas A&M, Wade Taylor has 19 points. And the winner of this game gets Tennessee tomorrow at 2:30-ish. We say 2:30-ish because the second game today started at about 3 o'clock. So we'll see what happens there. Coming up tonight, 10 seed Mississippi State against the 7 seed Missouri. Missouri favored by 3.5. Missouri's lost 3 games in a row. Mississippi State won last night by 29 points against LSU. LSU has been just flat out terrible down the stretch. They haven't shown up at all.
They were so bad last night.
So bad. They lost by 30 at Kentucky the other day, and now 29 last night. Just a terrible way to end the season. But Josh Hubbard, if you haven't seen him, for Mississippi State, great player. 6 of 12 from 3. He had 26 points. And they had balanced scoring. So State had 91 points last night. They only had 1 player in double figures. So they had 10 players with at least 4 points, and they really spread that around. The nightcap tonight, 14 seed Oklahoma against 6 seed Kentucky. Slay Dog made a great point. Oklahoma's used to playing in the Big 12 tournament against like Kansas and Kansas City, is what he said. It's going to be a different deal when they walk out and see the Big Blue Mist all over Bridgestone Arena tonight as Kentucky plays Oklahoma. Kentucky favored by 6.5. And that leads us to tomorrow where Auburn will be in action. Alabama will be in action. No Roll Tide.
Yeah, we'll see.
Florida will be in action. No Go Gators. And Tennessee will be in action.
Go Vols.
I know you have that in you.
Not me.
I'm not behind the board. I'm not going to play it.
No.
There it is. So all 4 of those teams will be in action tomorrow. Again, you can catch the Tennessee game right here on 104.5 The Zone, and then we will be on after the game. So interesting stuff from Cosell, where he says theoretically on paper, better on the offensive line, considerably better than they have been the last several years. He said you have to wait and see how it all plays out, but that he thinks they got better at 2 positions with Dan Moore at left tackle and moving J.C. Latham to right tackle. Again, we've talked to multiple offensive line gurus, and we'll talk to another one at 5:20. Ramon Foster will join us at that point. But Baldy and Ross Tucker both told us J.C. Latham would be better on the right side. They just didn't have an option at left tackle. So now he moves to the right side. More of a mauler, big physical guy, and should help in the run game. Zeitler, I was reading stories about him from Detroit. He started all 16 games that he played last year in Detroit. He didn't play the playoff game either because he got hurt in the last game of the season. But what they were talking about was his PFF grade is high on the run side. So you've got 2 run-oriented offensive linemen on the right side, and then Cushenberry back. Hopefully it's not one of those things where, well, it was just year one outside, after the Achilles. We're waiting for year two for him to be back to normal. Hopefully he can be back to normal in year one off the Achilles.
Did you see, too, the...
That's a big man, though, on an Achilles.
That is a big man. Did you see Zeitler, the video that has, taken over now is him working on his past sets while his wife was having a baby?
Oh, is that what was happening?
Yes. He was in the hospital.
Hey, what did
standing next to the
what were
bed
the words that they
working
said when they were looking for a new GM? All ball, all day?
All ball. Football
day.
guy.
Well, I think that's just Zeitler being nervous and needing to release some nervous energy.
Hey, whatever. Looks great. I like it. He could have been on his phone. He could have been doing anything. Nope.
Yeah, he just turned 35. He's 6'4", 332. First-round pick out of Wisconsin in 2012. First-team All-American. He was a Pro Bowler in 2023. Rookie year, gave up only 4 sacks, started all 16 games, graded out as the best Cincinnati Bengals offensive lineman. In 5 seasons with the Bengals, he started 71 of 72 games at right guard. In 2017, he signed a $60 million contract with the Browns, making him the highest paid offensive guard in the NFL. He started all 47 games he played in 3 seasons with the Ravens, started all 16 games he played last year for the Lions. Really good run blocker is what I kept reading. There's Scott Ramsey walking by, and he's going to give Kirby a hard time, I think. Play-by-play. Durable, played in at least 12 games of all 13 of his NFL seasons. He's made at least 15 starts in every season back to 2015. So a durable guy there at right tackle, and Kevin Zeitler, and the new offensive line again. Dan Moore, 6'5", 315, 26 years old. Left guard Peter Skoronski, 6'4", 315, 23 years old. Center Lloyd Cushenberry, 6'4", 315, 27 years old. Right guard Kevin Zeitler, 6'4", 332, 35 years old. Right tackle J.C. Latham, 6'6", 342, 22 years old. So I know the jokes are out there about the Titans not going after big-name guys. But if you listen to Greg Cosell, who's been doing this a long, long time, more than 4 decades, in terms of watching teams put themselves together roster-wise, the trenches. That's where it needs to be. And as Greg Cosell said, that was their weakest point, and they've taken care of that. So I'm excited about the offensive line, which makes me excited about moving forward and seeing what else they do, because quarterback room and wide receiver room are the worst in the league. So
I'm excited about
let's start there.
Drafting a quarterback.
There you go.
A generational talent, baby.
Who's your generational talent?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, Cam Ward has been forever.
5 o'clock hour coming up. 615-737-1045. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Good afternoon. It is 5:02. I'm Joseph Bonanno live from Bridgestone Arena for the SEC basketball tournament. The Titans earlier today signed quarterback Brandon Allen to a one-year deal. A 49ers backup comes in to compete with Will Levis for a QB job. In NFL news, recently free agent quarterback Gardner Minshew reached an agreement today on a one-year deal to the Kansas City Chiefs to become the backup for Patrick Mahomes. Update from the SEC tournament here at Bridgestone Arena. Ole Miss Arkansas started off the day. Ole Miss wins in high drama, 83-80, thanks to a go-ahead three-pointer late from Sean Padula. Right now, Texas A&M going down to the wire. Texas leading 69-68 with 1:15 left in that one. Winner will face Tennessee tomorrow afternoon. Mississippi State and Missouri will start the second session tonight starting at 6 p.m. Oklahoma and Kentucky will follow that. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Happy Thursday to you. I did mention that Babs is here because she is. She is here.
What up? What up? Let's go.
Babs, do you feel better? I know you had a rough time walking in, spilling your backpack all over Demumbrian, but the Kentucky fans helped you out. That's good mojo for them as they play tonight.
Thank you, Kentucky fans. And I just got a walking taco, so I'm happy. Life is good.
So what is in your walking taco? For people that don't know what a walking taco is.
It's basically a bag of Fritos. Instead of up and down, it's left and right. Right?
The Fritos scoops.
I did Fritos scoops. I usually do.
That's what I thought. You usually do Doritos.
I usually do Doritos, but I felt like the heartburn would have been too bad for Doritos today, so I went Fritos. I got taco meat in there, sour cream, lettuce, little bit of beans.
Protein, good for you.
That's what else? Oh, and queso. Queso's
beans
key.
are good for your heart. Remember that?
Yes. How old are you?
Yeah. You want to know, like, in years of age or mentally?
I think we know. Anyway, so it's all in a bag.
Yes.
And then you just, like, shake it up and mix it up and eat it while you walk. Hence the walking taco. It's the best invention ever.
So why'd you go Fritos over Doritos?
Yeah, that's an
Heartburn.
interesting choice. Oh, yeah, she just said heartburn. Yeah.
Doritos give me really bad heartburn.
I do have Tums, though.
Didn't you say yesterday you would go
In your
Doritos?
pocket. Yeah, I usually do.
She does, always. This is kind of a weird day for her.
Yep.
Like, that's what,
I drank too much red wine last night.
Ah.
So I can't do Doritos on top of a red wine night last night because then heartburn. Listen, there are women out there that know exactly what I'm talking about.
Once you had a baby, everything changed.
Everything changed. I've never had heartburn in my life, ever. Then I have baby, and then I have it all the time.
Good to know.
Yep.
Her hair never went curly either.
Yep, and look at it now.
A&M just took the lead.
There we go.
Well, can you be a little more descriptive?
71-70 off of a three with under a minute left to go. 52.6 seconds.
Who hit it? Was it Wade Taylor?
I did not see.
Okay, Wade Taylor has 25 points, so good chance it was him. Trey Johnson with 15. So this one going down to the wire. Tennessee gets the winner. 71-70, Texas A&M, 52 seconds left.
Do you care if you're Tennessee?
I was just telling him. I asked Slay that question for a reason. Which team do you think is the better matchup for Tennessee? And he was like, just worry about yourself. And I told Zeph, I said, I used to sit here and think, man, I'd rather play this team, blah, blah, blah. And the minute you do that is the minute the next day they beat your ass.
Yep.
So
or the team that you
That being said, I'd rather
wanted.
play Texas.
Texas A&M has more
Good job,
offense.
Seth.
Texas A&M's the better basketball team. They're
Yes.
ranked 14th in the country. Texas is trying to get in the tournament. They're still the first team out. But that gives them motivation and drive and energy and all those things that we all need on a daily basis. So that's what's going on in the world of basketball. The Titans make their free agency quarterback play. What do y'all think, man? 49ers backup Brandon Allen will come in here and compete with Will Levis for the backup job because there's no way you're going to game one with Brandon Allen as your starting quarterback, ideally. No way.
No.
Did that just tell us everything we need to know about what the Titans' plan is with their first pick? What were the odds that you went through?
The odds that the first overall pick would be traded
48%?
For 2025, it was 46.7% or something.
Before the signing of Brandon Allen. So what did the signing of Brandon Allen do to those odds?
Bring it down to like 1.something%. Yeah.
So it's interesting, too.
So Vegas thinks that that's all you need to know.
The minute I saw that on Twitter, I retweeted it, quote tweeted it, and wrote, okay, Cam Ward's your number one pick, y'all. And so I said that to you today because you've been so in on Cam Ward, and your response to me was, unless it's Shedeur.
I don't really believe that.
That was really weird. Like, you rarely
Especially
catch me.
coming from me.
Yes, but you rarely catch me by surprise, and you caught me by surprise.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair, though. I mean, it could be Shedeur. What if they trade back? What if they trade back one spot because they think Shedeur is the guy and get a first-round draft pick for next year, and then boom.
Texas just went up by 1 in an and-one opportunity. Made basket, 1 free throw coming up. Texas leading Texas A&M by 1 point with 38 seconds left. It's funny. It's kind of a weird experience being at a basketball tournament and doing a radio show in the concourse where we can look through one of the alleys that leads to the section and see seats over there, but we can't see the floor. And then we've got television next to us, but it's behind the action. So you hear the crowd, and then you see it happen on the television. It's kind of a weird experience in here. So I guess the options are clearly they're going quarterback with the first pick, right? So if you want Cam Ward, you stick and pick at 1. If you want Shedeur, that's where you can kind of play a shell game a little bit, right?
Correct.
So,
or if you're okay with Shedeur and trading back, then you can.
Now, one thing they've done, if they do prefer Shedeur, is sold everyone that they're taking Cam Ward. So that brings the Giants wanting to give you more than maybe what it's worth to get to 1. And if Cleveland wants Cam Ward, that makes them want to give more than the Giants.
Yep.
And so the idea that, like, if you're Cleveland, you tell the Titans, hey, before you take that Giants deal, call us.
Yep.
And we'll get our, last and best.
A&M just retook the lead.
With an and-one opportunity, they tie the game, right?
Oh, yeah, tied because they were down by 2.
But they can take the lead with a free throw with 31 seconds left. This game is – man, March is hit Bridgestone Arena today, baby. There is no question about it. It's been a fun day here. You've got the 83-80 game-winning 3 with 2 seconds left, and now you've got this Texas A&M game going down to the wire.
So speaking of those two teams, the Browns and the Giants, just a little QB news from there. Russell Wilson visited with the Browns today. He's on his way to New York now. He'll visit with the Giants tomorrow. And the Giants also brought in Joe Flacco on a visit today. So a couple of quarterbacks that they're also keeping their eye on.
Their due diligence. 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from Bridgestone Arena for the 2025 SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. Listen in as we keep you up to date with all the news and events happening here, along with special guests thanks to Shoney's. For more information, visit 1045thezone.com. Shoney's, always fresh, always delicious. Let's eat.
Missed a free throw. Tie game.
So tie game, Texas has the ball with
25.9 seconds left.
So they'll hold for 1. So we've got another buzzer beater opportunity here, or a potential overtime game. So as we look ahead to tomorrow, in terms of the 3HL schedule, we go on after the Tennessee game and after the Tennessee post game. So it'll be a fluid situation. Just keep in mind that after the Tennessee game, we will be on. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we're trying to do is have Chris Lowe and the Wizard, Tony White, former Tennessee, incredible star basketball player who once put up 51 points on.
Yeah.
Auburn.
Why you got to bring? And I can't say anything to him because he's the Wizard.
I've already talked to Low Dog about this.
So you're setting me up.
I am setting you up. So I've never done that before. Yeah. So that's our goal tomorrow is to have
ways than one.
To have those two guys on it. And Chris can get into detail. Now that the Chris Lofton documentary is out, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, make sure you see it. Even if you're not a Tennessee fan, you'll be a fan of this guy, and you'll be a fan of the people that were around him and how they protected him and reacted to the situation of him going through cancer treatment his senior year at Tennessee without telling anyone, basically anyone. There were like 6 people that knew. And no, like his teammates didn't know. The media didn't know. Chris Lowe knew. And Chris Lowe held it. How about that? In a world where everybody's trying to beat everybody with stories, Chris Lowe held that. All right, more 3HL. We'll tell you. Well, actually, let's keep it here while Texas dribbles the ball with 10 seconds left, setting up their last play. Tie game, 7 seconds left. Texas with the ball, 3-point line. Dribbling inside 17-footer is no good. Rebound Texas A&M. They throw it the length of the floor, and it hits the backboard. It falls off. So we go to overtime. Texas and Texas A&M, 73-73. More 3HL coming up. Big savagery. Ramon Foster. We'll talk NFL football. We'll talk about the Titans. We'll talk about, clearly, ex-Steeler Dan Moore, the new Titans left tackle, and J.C. Latham moving to left guard. We'll also talk about Kevin Seitler as well. All that coming up with Ramon Foster next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. Man, the Amamali family, they flat out get it done, and they are remarkable people. And not only will you get a jeweler for life and someone that can help you with your gifting responsibilities throughout the course of the year, you're going to gain friends as well. The Amamali family, entrenched in this market for more than 50 years. Brentwood Jewelry has been proudly serving the Brentwood community in Nashville with exceptional style and exceptional deals every day. As a family-owned and operated business spanning 3 generations, they are deeply rooted in this community. From Salem service and special forces to his son serving as local firefighters, the Amamali family is dedicated to giving back. Support local. Shop Brentwood Jewelry. Brentwood Jewelry here to help you pop the question. If you're thinking about getting that done, let them help you take the stress out of selecting the perfect engagement ring. They can help you find a beautiful ring in your ideal budget. Browse their incredible selection of one-of-a-kind rings, or talk with their custom design specialists to create a stunning ring as remarkable as your loved one. 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Visit BrentwoodJewelry.com. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport with you. 3HL powered by Ferguson Home. Discover the Mount Juliet showroom at 401 South Mount Juliet Road. Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. FergusonHome.com. Our coverage here at the SEC tournament brought to you by Shoney's. Shoney's, always fresh, always delicious. Let's eat at Shoney's. Find all of your favorite things and more. Head in today for a delicious meal at one of Shoney's Middle Tennessee locations in Clarksville, Dixon, Lebanon, and on Donaldson Pike in Nashville. Lots of Titans news, and good time for us to visit with our guy. Big Savagery, Ramon Foster joins us now, as he does every Thursday at 5:20. You can catch RK Dub weekday mornings from 6 until 10 on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon, we've seen Will Bowling wandering around here the last 2 days wearing Tennessee gear with Tennessee not playing. You're not surprised, are you?
No, not surprised at all. Will is a true Vol. You guys know that. So much so that I have to tell him stop talking about the balls on air because we get side-eyed when we speak about the balls, okay? So I've been very pro everybody else this week, okay? I'm pro Vandy. I'm pro Auburn Babs.
There we go.
I started calling the SEC tournament in Nashville the Mississippi State Invitational because they just simply turn it on.
They sure did last night.
They really did. They won by almost 30 last night. That's the biggest margin of victory for Mississippi State in an SEC tournament last night. The previous record was 27 points also against LSU, but Josh Hubbard went for 26 last night. So, Moan, the big story obviously is the Titans make their free agency quarterback play. I think it tells us everything we need to know. You don't sign Brandon Allen to be the quarterback on week one, ideally. So it looks like certainly quarterback with the first pick, right?
It seems that way, man. Or honestly, I've been thinking about this at all angles. Like, I like it could be smoke and mirrors, right? As it pertains to how they're going about lobbying to say, making it seem like it's more of a valuable pick for them to take Cam Ward. These types of games are played by teams and stuff like that as it pertains to not showing your hand. I'm not sure if everybody just knows after the combine that the Titans are very quarterback desperate, and Cam Ward is the guy to go get. Again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Mayor and Babs, as it comes down to, like, what you want as a quarterback and what you want your team to look like. Cam is the best quarterback in this draft, and Right now the quarterback market is dry. You can try a retread dude, right, as far as Carson Wentz or whoever else is available, Trey Lance at this point, and just roll anybody out there or go back to 11. I just am of the mindset this organization, the Titans,
none of those options work.
Yeah, I know, but they need a lot of picks, and it seems.
I mean, they went the retread with Tannehill, right? And it worked for a little bit until it didn't.
It worked for a year and a half.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I'll say this: it's just a history of second-year coaches that pick a quarterback. They have a hard time retaining their job, and after your rookie's quarterback first year, do you want a coaching change? I know some of those things are necessary and you can't control it at times, but it's a fascinating approach to what the long-term plan is for this team. But in the immediate time that we're in, a lot of this has to be about Coach Callahan because he's the one that's got to coach his team up. That's why I still question, like, is it for sure that Cam Ward is the guy? I know Schefter came out and said, yes, he's the number one overall pick. But, man, listen, as much as we talked about Joe Alt last year, and I know there's different circumstances right there, and both teams needed to tackle. But I know these teams like to play games and use these big-name newsbreakers and stuff like that just to drive up price sometimes. I'm not 100% sold is what I'm telling y'all.
Okay.
I got you.
I don't believe you. But okay. Hey, Kim. Let's talk about what you know a heck of a lot more than I do about offensive line because the Titans have made some moves to fix things there. Dan Moore, you watched Pittsburgh. I mean, you still do a Team Pittsburgh podcast. Like, you don't only watch, you watch closely that team.
Yeah.
So Dan Moore, there's mixed reactions. A lot of people say he's inconsistent and, certainly not worth that money, which, the market determines what a player is worth when you have a need that great, right? So we'll take the money out of it, but let's just talk about the inconsistency and the play. And there's been talk about his hands being a mess and whatever else. Hit it.
Oh my gosh, I hate this type of stuff, y'all, because it comes from people that look. Y'all know, like I know, man. It's so easy to go negative first and then to praise somebody, because in the end, if you're right, because football and sports, because of injuries, because of bad plays, because of mixed matches and stuff like that, you can say somebody's a bust and nobody ever comes back and say on the back end, no, I was wrong about him. He's actually good. And I've heard a lot of that as it pertains to Dan. And I've also heard a lot of people, respectfully, I'll say this, right? Hear me out before y'all say, well, you just using your experience. But it's a lot of people talking O-line that don't know a daggone thing about offensive linemen. And I'll just be completely honest with y'all. And that's not just this Dan Moore situation. It's in totality of, like, speaking about it. I'll give you a case in point right now, right? The Titans also signed Kevin Zeitler, right?
Yep.
They also signed Zeitler. Zeitler has been one of the most consistent best guards in the league. Babs, you know how many Pro Bowls he's made? One. You know
and
how
he
long
was an alternate.
Yes, and you know how long it's been since, like, how long it took for him to make that? It was like 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Everybody across the league knew that he was a real good player, but, like, the people that watch the game, they only pay attention to the big names, and they only give credit to a certain amount of guys as it pertains to what they deem as being good. I know a lot of players that are deemed to being good that are bad. So about Dan Moore, let me get it now that I got that out the way. Dan Moore is this. He's 26 years old, only 4 years in the league. His best years should be from years 5 to 9 is where I've been. You guys know I've been consistently on that tip right there. 5 to 9 is where it should be. And if you trust him to be with Coach Bill Callahan, and you trust to teach him, because I think somebody labeled him OLJ, right, because of his teaching. And one thing I know is this: Dan has talent. Dan, inconsistencies that you mentioned are probably the sacks that are associated with him. Here's the other side of that sack story. How come we put a big emphasis on offensive linemen giving up sacks, but sometimes we'll minimize how defensive ends and defensive players get them? We got to have a baseline on how we're judging what's good and what's not, because the sacks aren't bad if you have the ability to overcome. And here's what I would tell you. Pittsburgh's had double-digit winning seasons for years. The last 4 years, Dan has been there while also making the playoffs. He also had guys come behind him that were first-round draft picks of higher pedigree, and he's simply beat out. So if you're telling me that makes him a bad offensive lineman by giving up sacks, I'll sit you down and tell me how those sacks happened right there, because there's a lot of fuss about what's good as far as offensive line play and what's bad. And I'll tell you this: I think Dan Moore is a good offensive line player whose ceiling is very high as it pertains to what he's capable of. He's athletic, he can move well, and his pass pro is his best asset about him at this point. And I know 13 sacks, Mo. Think about who his quarterbacks have been for not just last year, but like the last 3-4 years. It's been Kenny Pickett, who's a sack magnet, Mason Rudolph, and Russell and doggone Justin Fields last year. And Russell has been known to be a sack guy. I'm not here to hype you guys up about Dan Moore, but I'll tell you this: his mark is very, very strong from teams who are Super Bowl contending teams, and I won't say the other team, but another necessary team that has to be that was looking for him too. Like, that was a bidding war, so you can't blame him for that bad. His hands is one of those things that's, it's like footwork. The more you work on it, the more you get comfortable with, the better you are with it also. These are what I like to call, Babs, coachable, teachable things. We put a lot of stuff on players, but here's what we also can't forget. Coaches have a job to teach a guy. I like Pat Meyer in Pittsburgh, but he ain't nowhere near Munchak or what they said about Coach Bill Callahan. There are ways to facilitate guys getting better. And it might just be working on one drill a day. It might just be putting an emphasis on him and how he strikes and uses his hands. What I do know is this: he trains with Duke Manyweather in Dallas, right? And we know Duke to be one of those guys that get the best out of guys. And with that being said, if that's something that needs to be an emphasis, I'm sure Duke will work on that with his hand placement drills and stuff like that they do down there in Dallas. And Duke is really good in his offseason training too. And with that being said, I think I said it on our show, but Dan recently, we texted a bit. Would be familiar with the line, and he said that he's been training with Peter and JC for a little while, and he's known Lloyd Cushenberry because of playing LSU. So they're very familiar. I hope they gel quickly, and I hope they all grow together, because Peter's right behind him, Dan Moore, and JC, man, got a hell of a veteran on the right side of the line with him.
So what does Zeitler bring then? What does he offer? I mean, he's 35, right? He's 35, and then other than that, the oldest is Lloyd Cushenberry at 27. So he's got a bunch of young guys with him. I'm assuming that's a big part of why he's here on a one-year deal.
Man, yes. He brings steadiness, Babs, more than anything, and understanding. I don't think any of these guys on this team, as Titans offensive linemen right now, have had really good seasons. And that's including Lloyd Cushenberry. I think he had a decent season in Denver, but you got to look at where Zeitler has come from. Cincinnati, and the times that he was where they won the AFC North twice. He's gone to Baltimore and won the AFC North. He's also been in Detroit and won the NFC North this past year, too. So you see what I'm saying? Like, there is a level of experience and grit that he brings to him to where it might not be valuable for him to be practicing every single day, but being in the meeting room and telling guys, hey, in this situation or this game, this is how we approach it. That goes a long way because guys that are young as J.C. Peter, and heck, to be honest with you, the Lloyd and Dan, like, experiences of being in situational football is huge, Babs. Like, the approach you take mentally to going on a Sunday night football game, Monday night football game, or, hey, this is us versus the Colts, and we got to go smash their face to create dominance. Like, that type of stuff right there happens in the offensive line room as it pertains to, like, the leadership that you get. I'll be completely honest with you. One of my main attributes that I had in my later years was that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to, like, guide guys and coach guys. And that's another thing, too, that Zeitler brings, and also Dan Moore, too, is the ability to guide younger offensive linemen. I think Dan's going to be good for Peter on that left side because both of those are two good pass pro guys as far as the PFF grades, and we're going to hold true to that. And you're going to get a grader as far as a road grader out of Kevin Zeitler. I look at the right side of the offensive line and say they should move bodies. But here's the other thing.
Yeah, lay them back.
It's going to be known that the right side is where the heaviness of the run game goes. That's where the experience with Zeitler and keeping guys calm and saying, if we stick with our technique and play our game, eventually the rock is going to crack. And when you're playing OL, that's all that you're looking for is, hey, when will you make the defense submit? And that's what I like about the setup of this offensive line right now. They got guys that know what it looks like to make defenses submit.
Ramon Foster with us. Big Savagery, RK Dub, weekday morning, 6 to 10 on 104.5 The Zone. Yeah. Savage, we just had Greg Cosell on, and he said, yeah, he said a lot of what you just said, man. And one big picture thing he said, look, he goes, I know it's March, and I know we're talking about on paper, but this offensive line is much better than it has been the last few years, just as we sit. Now, they got to go play. But you combine the way they've constructed this offensive line with Bill Callahan, and he said this group is much better on paper than the last few years. So that is a good positive element to this free agency thing where they just haven't had, like, they haven't gone after the sexy headline that captures the eye of a lot of fans. They've done it in a way they said they were going to do it, fix the trenches.
Yeah, Borgonzi said it, man. He was like, they're going to focus in on bigs. They're going to be strategic on how they go about it, which is, I'll be honest with y'all, why I'm also hesitant to say that Cam Ward is the guy. Because if they get a big on defense, if they're able to move back, let's say Abdul Carter. Like, I like Abdul Carter. I know what he can mean for a team as far as splash and stuff like that. Like, all you're doing at that point is just guiding your team through a rebuild. So I'm with you.
Yeah. But I'm gonna hit you with what Don always says when somebody brings that up. Who's your quarterback?
What you say?
Who's your quarterback? You going to war with Brandon Allen?
Or Will Levis again?
Or Will Levis?
Yes, at this point.
Oh,
wow. And the only reason I bring that up is for this reason right here. They said they're going to be strategic about a rebuild. You get your quarterback. I feel better about this offensive line. But where are your other weapons at, too? And it's early in free agency, true enough.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be done to just overly state that Cam Ward is going to be the guy.
Oof. Can you imagine what our airwaves will sound like if they don't draft a quarterback and roll out there with Will Levis and Brandon Allen?
Will Levis beats out Brandon Allen, I think.
Okay, so check this out then if that's the case. if we believe that this offensive line is better, what didn't Will Levis have last year, to his credit?
Fair enough. Protection.
Yeah,
Offensive
They
line.
didn't have. And if you say to yourself that this group should be able to run block better, pass pro better, that may mean for just a better version of him. That's all I'll contend on that. The airways, Vavs, I'm with you. Yeah, a lot of people are gung-ho about Shador and Cam both, okay? I'm not opposed to it, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm not fully ready to sell out that he's the foregone number one overall pick this draft. If what Chad and Borgonzi said, as far as they want as many picks as they can, is true, if the Giants come to them to give them a nice trade as far as the first overall pick because they're desperate for a quarterback too, are you not going to take them?
I'm not,
that's what
but...
they said? Okay, I know how you feel about Cam.
No, but Sab, listen,
but no, it's
you make a great point.
It's a legit point. It's a fair point.
Because they've totally sold and driven the price up to get to number one by bringing Brandon Allen in. If they do want to trade back and they aren't sold on these two quarterbacks, they have certainly sold everyone on them taking Cam Ward. So that brings the price up for the Giants, which brings the price up for the Browns if they want to move up one spot. I see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I don't trust NFL teams until the selection is in, the way I look at it, okay? And the only reason another reason I'll say that too is this. There's been a lot of discrepancies on where do you rate these guys, right? Like, do you rate them as high as the guys were last year? Yes, Cam is the best of the bunch this year, but is he a guy that's worthy of the number one overall picks when the experts, and Cosell probably is in this conversation too, will tell you Abdul Carter is the best player in the draft, right?
Cosell really likes Cam Ward.
Yeah, it's interesting. What he said about Cam Ward today is what he has said for months. His film evaluation tells him that Cam Ward is the number one quarterback in this class, and the way that he puts it is he's worthy of the number one overall pick. So he really doesn't like rank players necessarily.
Well, because it's hard, right? Because I can't, like Ramon, I can't rank you against a quarterback.
No, but many guys rank players and rank the draft order and all this stuff. He doesn't do that. But he thinks that Cam Ward is worthy of the number one overall pick. We haven't really talked about Abdul Carter with him at length.
And here's the thing, though, too, is the Titans are in need of a quarterback, right? But, again, I've just seen this business go up and down the way it does and how people just lie and position themselves like this.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm hesitant to say, yeah, he's the guy moving forward. Do I think he could be good? Yes. Am I a Cam Ward fan? Hell yes, I am. But this team has a lot of holes to be filled that have been minimal movement as it pertains to what they've done so far. Like, who are the wide receivers that you're trusting for him to throw the ball to?
Yeah, you got to do something there. But like, what's left to do
roll
too?
Out Chig and Wiley again, like that's the other thing too. So, and
are you gonna trust a rookie with him? You know.
So, Bam, it is complicated. I did a Sirius XM hit today with Charles Davis, and they were just as confused as I was about the whole scenario too. Like it is complicated looking at where the Titans are because of so many holes. And that's why I caution myself to not oversell, because I felt like last year we oversold Joe Alt, and a good bit of fan base was let down on a really good player in J.C. Latham when he got picked. And I refuse to go through that again this cycle, just on the basis of
Latham was so different because, if he came in and played right, he might have been a world beater. You know what I mean? Like, but he came in and had to switch.
Yeah,
I feel like it's hard to – you can't evaluate him on that year as a
NFL
player.
You look at – so you've seen Cam Ward numerous times, right, in person?
Yes.
Bam. Do you view him as a franchise saver?
Who?
Why? No, so you're not supposed to hesitate like that.
I do, but you have to have the pieces around conversation. You're right. And I'm making your point, though, aren't I? With, like, the whole wide receiver thing.
Not just that, but just, like, having depth on the O-line. Having tight ends, weapons. And just knowing that it might be a little rough for you because, again, you're still trying to rebuild the defense up and support that too. So it's just a lot, and it's confusing with the Titans. And it's not just because of Organzi and Chad are in charge or ran short came a few things. Like, no, it's because of the previous first-round draft picks years late. Like, we got to be honest about that too. Like, if you got Isaiah Wilson here, it's a different conversation. You don't have to go also and pay for a safety and free agency yesterday. So, like, there's a lot of mistakes that were made here. Taylor Lewan retiring early. I know the body breaks down when it does, so I'm not tripping off of that. But there's a lot that goes into why you're at this spot right now. And it sucks because Cam should be heralded right now as a guy across the city. But in my opinion, I'm hesitant. Just because I don't trust them, and I feel like this is a point to just drive the price up.
Great stuff, Savage. Appreciate you. Ramon Foster, you can catch him RK Dub weekday morning 6 to 10 on 104.5 The Zone. Thank you, buddy.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Paul. No doubt.
All right, love
Thanks,
you, pal.
Savage.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more basketball. This game is dramatic. Today is dramatic, and two more games coming up tonight. We'll tell you what's going on with Texas and Texas A&M. Some big shots being made. Trey Johnson just hit about a 30-footer in overtime. More of that coming up as we continue to broadcast live from the SEC tournament. Thanks to our friends at Shoney's. This is 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. USS, keeping homes dry and stable. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky online at USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855. My friends at USS ready to help you out when it comes to large home repairs. A lot of times we homeowners pretend that you don't see the warning signs. You are afraid of what you are going to hear. This is especially true for waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed. It could be a small problem now that will become bigger, or it could be nothing. Bottom line, you don't know, and you certainly don't want to be sold something that you do not need. You need peace of mind, and at United Structural Systems, this company is there to give you that. Over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and here is how they have made that happen. When USS comes out to your house, you are getting problem solvers who provide peace of mind to their customers, the homeowner. You are not getting someone who is worried about meeting a sales quota or upselling the next big thing, but someone there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. At USS, their only measure of success is how satisfied the homeowner is, not closing ratio. Again, USS, keeping homes dry and stable. This is the company who cares and the company you can trust. They guarantee their best. USS, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky, online at USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Texas and Texas A&M going down to the wire. It looks like the Longhorns are going to get the win in overtime, and they will. So Tennessee and Texas tomorrow in the second game. The battle for UT.
The real UT.
And the winner of that game gets to play the winner of Don's game, Auburn Ole Miss.
Oh,
The
yeah.
real shade of orange.
Is that like your
Dramatic voice?
That's my
scary,
big voice.
dramatic,
My big guy voice.
like, no, your movie premiere guy or promo guy voice?
That's right.
In a
How does
world.
it sound?
In a world with
Should I-
2 UTs.
That's right. Should I pull it out at the high school girls state championship on
Yes,
Saturday?
let everyone know you're doing that this year. And it's interesting, man. You've got a great analyst working with you side by side.
I'm super pumped because her knowledge of the game is off the charts. How about AC, Alicia Clark?
Oh, nice.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely love that.
Which I'm sure after her ridiculous, illustrious, really long basketball career that maybe she might be looking to do some TV. I don't know, so I'm pumped.
That'll
All
be
I
fun.
know is like there's somebody who knows every single thing there is to know about the girls' game sitting right next to me. So
How about an all-female crew, play-by-play and analyst? I love that.
yes, it is going to be, and reporter too.
Oh,
I don't remember who our reporter is for
it Sammy?
our games. So no,
No?
maybe Kayla
maybe Kayla.
or somebody else. There's somebody else on the list.
I think Sammy and Kayla are both doing it at some point. But
Yes, they are. So
anyway, dramatic day here at Bridgestone Arena.
So
man.
much fun.
March Madness. Like I always say, like I'm a college football guy at heart, number one, and then probably the NFL. But these tournaments are the best. The conference tournaments and the regular season in the SEC has probably been the best it's ever been.
March as a whole is hard to
But,
beat.
Man, I know you've got the game winner with 2 seconds earlier with Ole Miss, Padula hitting the 3 to win and send his team into the next round against Auburn. And then you've got this overtime matchup with Texas. The 13 seed will play on Friday. How about that? 13 seed will play on Friday. So Texas and Tennessee coming up a little bit later. And what's interesting now is, and Kirby was talking about this a little bit yesterday, it is 5:50 p.m. The next game is scheduled for 6 o'clock. It won't happen. It'll be 6:25. They'll probably go 6:30 maybe. So they can get everybody in and out of here.
So they have 55 minutes on the clock.
Okay, there you go. So they've dealt with the situation. So I was wondering how they were going to get all of these people, thousands of people walking in front of us right
Because
now.
it's a different ticket.
It's a different ticket for the next session of 2 games and get everyone back in. Yesterday, it was funny sitting here watching people run to their seats because it was general admission.
Oh, that's why they were running.
They were
Well, they
running.
were doing that
totally
in the morning, too.
missed that. Yeah.
They were today?
Yesterday
Is it
morning and
Oh,
this morning.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so today too? Is it general admission today too?
I think so.
Wow.
Because I saw people, I don't want to call it running because it's not they were like sprinting through the hallways, but they had a very fast-paced jog.
Rod Reed and his son Marcel just walked by and said
Aw.
hello to us, gave us a big thumbs up. Look at Marcel, how tall he is. Man, what a great experience for him last year
Yeah.
to get in at Texas A&M. And
That's right. They were watching A&M.
Yep, the big comeback win last year. Good to see Rod Reed and Marcel. Coming up tonight, 10 seed Mississippi State, 7 seed Missouri. Missouri's lost 3 games in a row. They blasted Mississippi State. Missouri did on February 1st in Starkville by 27. And remember, before that game, we were talking about how good Mississippi State was at home. And then Missouri goes in there and blasts them. And at that point, we're like, okay, Missouri's for real. Coming off the 0-18 last year, drastically different. They are the 7 seed this year. Caleb Grill, 18.7 points per game for Missouri in his last 6. Mark Mitchell averaging 20 points per game in his last 3. For Mississippi State, they go as Josh Hubbard goes. He was 6 of 12 from 3 last night with 26. Oklahoma and Kentucky coming up tonight. Kentucky a 6.5-point favorite. That game will be probably pushed back to like 9 o'clock now, as we maybe even later as we sit here and watch, which gives you the opportunity to watch MTSU if you would like to do that. MTSU is playing in the Conference USA quarterfinals against Louisiana Tech tonight at 8 o'clock. Should they win, they would play Jacksonville State tomorrow, the 2 seed at 3. Man, we've had a great time. Really appreciate you guys visiting with us. We've had a great time here in the concourse. We'll be back at it tomorrow again after the Tennessee game. Tune in. We'll have something special for you, we think. All of that coming up.
Unless it goes to 2 overtimes.
Right, exactly. We would not have a show in this situation tomorrow.
Yes.
Watch Slay Dog on the SEC Network. We appreciate you guys, including us in your day. We do not take that for granted, nor do we take it lightly. Have a great night. Good night. God bless.
See ya. What ya?
Unless you are Texas, 13 seed, going into the third day.
Shout out.
Go Vols.